Good morning, YouTube. It's your favorite Steelers family coming back with another one. I am Duck, and to my left, I have
Juice.
And this week, we're here to talk about the Jaguars. You know, we took another win. The Ravens. Hopefully, we get to play. And what are you thankful for?
Me personally, my dog, a house, the Steelers winning, family, food. And now, what about you, Duck?
I mean, I got to say that pretty much the same stuff, man. With this year being so crazy, we're still here. We're still kicking. So I'm thankful for that. And like you said, the Steelers are 10-0. Let's go.
Before we start, we just have to give a shout out to Joe Burrow. It's his only rookie season, and he went down with an injury. I look forward to playing him next season.
Yeah, I know we're division rivals and all, but you never want that. I mean, that man has a family that cares for him, you know what I mean? Like, you never want to see injuries like that happen in football, because at the end of the day, it's just the game.
Okay, news now. Alan Faneca and Hines Ward are semifinalists for the Hall of Fame class of 2021.
Hey, that's awesome to hear. I know they've both been semifinalists before, but hopefully this is their year. All right, so Big Ben, he went 32 out of 46 for 267 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 INT. Not a bad game, but an average game.
Our running game is getting better. James Conner had 13 carries for 89 yards. His average was 6.8. Benny Snell had 7 carries, 15 yards, an average of 2.1, and 1 touchdown. Speaking of Benny Snell, he has 5 career rushing touchdowns. 4 of those came from 1 yard out, and the other came from 4 yards out. He's really a goal line running back.
Now, our leading receiver was Deontay Johnson. He had a career high, 12 receptions, 111 yards. That's a 9.2 average. Claypool had 4 receptions, 59 yards, 4.8 average, and 1 TD. The other TD came from Ebron, who had 4 receptions, 36 yards, and 9.0 average.
Whoa. You're forgetting about the birthday boy. Juju Smith-Schuster had 4 receptions and 19 yards. He's a really unselfish player because he only had 19 yards, but he was still celebrating. They're really overall just an unselfish team.
Now, our leading tackler was Vince Williams with 4 tackles, but the big story is Minkah Fitzpatrick had 3 tackles and 2 interceptions. And then his fellow safety, Terrell Edmonds, had 2 tackles and also 2 interceptions.
The last time 2 safeties recorded multiple interceptions in the same game was December 13th, 1998, when Seattle safeties Donnell Williams and Jay Bellamy each recorded 2 interceptions against the San Diego Chargers.
So not only did we have 4 interceptions, but we also had 2 sacks, one from Bud Dupree and the other one from Tuitt. He has 7 sacks on the season. That's his career high.
We have 15 interceptions on the season and also 38 sacks. That's number 1 in both categories, and there's still more games to come.
Now, the Jaguars' passing game did not go well. Jake Luton went 16 out of 37, 151 yards, and 4 interceptions.
What?
Yikes.
The Jags' rushing game did way better than their passing game. James Robinson had 17 carries for 73 yards. That's an average of 4.3, but 0 touchdowns.
Now, their leading receiver was DJ Shark with 4 receptions, a whopping 41 yards. That's a 10.2 average. Tyler Eifert, former Bengal, had 2 receptions, 32 yards, 16 average. And Keenan Cole had 2 receptions, 26 yards, and a 13 average.
Joe Sherbert led the team for the Jags with tackles with 8. Chris Claybrooks had 7 tackles, and Daniel Thomas had 1 interception.
Now, with this win, Big Ben has 8 career seasons with double-digit wins. That ties Drew Brees, Aaron Rodgers, and John Elway for the 4th most in NFL history. The only players with more are Tom Brady with 17, Peyton Manning with 14, and Brett Favre with 10.
Okay, we need to start giving the linemen some love. Alejandro Villanueva still hasn't allowed a sack, and we're already 10 games in. That's pretty impressive.
No, that is impressive. Now, you probably already saw, but Chase Claypool now has 10 touchdowns in 10 games. He's just one of 3 rookies to do that since 1997. Zeke in 2016, Saquon in 2018, and he's the first non-running back to do it since Mike Ditka in 1961. Only 3 receivers, Bill Groman, Harlan Hill, and Billy Houghton, have done it in the NFL, period.
Claypool is just 1 touchdown shy from tying the Steelers' rookie record for touchdowns in a season. Franco Harris and Louis Lips each had 11 in 1972 and 1984. That should be pretty easy considering there's still 6 games left and all Claypool needs is 1 touchdown.
Thursday will mark the Steelers' 9th Thanksgiving Day game and the first one at home. Pittsburgh last played on Thanksgiving in 2016 in Indianapolis and beat the Colts 28-7.
In Ben's last 4 starts at home against the Ravens, he had 1,399 passing yards, a 349.8 per game, with 12 touchdowns and 3 interceptions for a 103.6 passer rating.
Earlier, I said I hope we get to play Thursday, and that's because the Ravens have announced that they've had players test positive for COVID-19. Now, 2 big names are Mark Ingram and J.K. Dobbins. 2 of their featured backs are not going to be there for Thursday's game.
Man, I really do hope we get to play on Thursday. Anyways, we're moving on to game balls now. My offensive one is going to DJ, for obvious reasons. He had career-high numbers on Sunday. My defensive one is going to Minkah. Finally, Minkah is here. He had that 1 pick 6 and 2 breakups, and then that's basically it. This game, he had 2 INTs.
All right, so for my offensive one, I'm going to give it to James Conner. He stepped it up big time for this game, and hopefully he continues to show what he could do. My defensive one is going to go to Terrell Edmonds because he also had 2 interceptions, and just to see how he grew. Man, last year he had no picks, and this year he has 2 in 1 game. I like that.
You like that? You like that?
Moving into improvements now. It's nothing new for me or Doc. I'm saying we need to improve the rushing game on offense because earlier in the season I was like, yes, we're getting a lot of yards on rushing. Now, not so much.
Like Juice said, I mean, really the rushing game just needs to step it up. Connor did well this week. Hopefully the blocking continues and we can really make moves in the running game.
Moving on to predictions now. We're not going to be predicting the Ravens because we're not sure who's going to be in and who's going to be out. But anyways, I think Big Ben will have 259 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 INT. Eric Ebron, his leading receiver, will have 79 yards and 1 touchdown. Sadly, Connor does not top 100 with only 80 yards and 0 touchdowns.
See, I think the opposite. I think Ben's going to go off. He's going to have 313 yards, 3 touchdowns, and no interceptions. Leading receiver is going to be Claypool with 89 yards and 2 of those touchdowns. Connor is going to get 100 yards plus another touchdown.
Moving on to score predictions now. I think the Steelers will come out on top 24-17.
I think also the Steelers are going to win, but I'm thinking more 31-24. And that's just because the Ravens are really going to be down on themselves after the hard loss against Tennessee. And from their press conferences, they don't seem too sure about themselves anymore.
Okay, guys, drop your score predictions down below in the comments section. And if you get it right, you could win a free table towel.
All right, guys, thank you for listening, subscribing, sharing the video. Again, happy Thanksgiving. We're thankful for you guys. We're getting interactions now. We appreciate it. We truly do. And the year 2020, man, it's been crazy, but the Steelers are winning. So it is what it is. We have been Steal the Game.
We out.
Here we go, Steelers.